gentlemen, fellow South Africans, I must first congratulate the President on his 70th birthday. It's a wonderful achievement for those who are there already. Some of us are not worried yet. I got a message, Peter, when I was about to come up to ask you to get the lighting right. I don't know what this person who sent me the message was worried about. I must assure them it's not the lighting, it's me. Last year, I announced a new vision for the Department of Public Enterprises, with a strong emphasis on driving investment, productivity, and transformation in our portfolio of state-owned companies, as well as their customers and suppliers, so as to unlock growth, drive industrialization, create jobs, and develop skills. This morning, I will provide you with some of the concrete initiatives undertaken both by the state-owned companies as well as the department to turn this vision into reality. In the Transnet market demand strategy, we are beginning to see results from an approach to planning based on what is required to unlock growth rather than what the balance sheet can afford. As a consequence of this process, Transnet has increased their planning horizon from 5 years to 7 years, and the planned investment program from 110 billion rand to 300 billion rand over 7 years. This is an average increase from 22 billion rand per annum to around 43 billion rand per annum. In addition, 55% of the investment will be used for qualitatively new capacity to support growth, whereas in the previous program, only 30% was used towards new equipment. Transnet management has put considerable effort into improving operational efficiencies. A 24-hour, 7-day national command center has been introduced to plan, resource, and manage the movement of trains across the country. A scheduled departure system has been introduced in general freight. The results of management's focus on efficiency are spectacular. Year-on-year efficiency measurements have improved on average by 17%. Volumes on rail have grown by 7.3%. New weekly records have been set and then improved upon for both the coal and iron ore lines. At the ports, the Pier 1 container terminal at the Durban Port Terminal recorded increased productivity, with crane moves per hour improving by 20% to the average of 28 compared to 23 achieved in the previous financial year. These productivity improvements have allowed some of Transnet's key customers to expand production with associated increases in employment and exports. To support the focus on productivity improvements on our logistics system, the department has invested substantially in the National Corridor Performance Measurement Project. This is an information technology-based intervention to measure the operational efficiencies of different processes along key logistics corridors so as to identify areas for improvement and to enhance collaboration between different players on the logistics chain. In response to the President's call for a lower price increase this financial year, the department and ESCOM worked on the proposals to reduce the increase such that it achieves a balance between the interests of the country, the industry, and Eskom and its credit providers. A revised price increase, giving back more than 11 billion rand to the South African consumers, was developed in line with the energy regulators' processes and was approved and announced in March this year. It is my expectation that the reduction in the tariff will filter down to the different sectors of the economy, thereby cushioning the end users, especially the poor and vulnerable. Of course, we had said it, that this tariff reduction was predicated, among other factors, on the reduction of demand for electricity among South Africans, both households and corporates. As we usher in the winter season, we wish to make a clarion call to all South Africans to continue to reduce the demand by using electricity sparingly and efficiently, so that we can continue to ensure that every household has lights for cooking and heating during this cold season, and that corporates continue to work and to create jobs. Eskom cannot do this alone. We need every single one of our 49 million South Africans acting together. I wish today to make the promise to all South Africans that on its part, Eskom will do all in its power to keep the lights on during this winter season, so that as low temperatures slowly and gradually envelop our country, we can be guaranteed that we have made thorough preparations and we will keep you warm throughout this cold season. What is not fully appreciated is that the reduced tariff was made possible by a range of initiatives in Eskom, which resulted in a reduction in the 5-year capital expenditure programs of over 70 billion rand without sacrificing any objectives of this program. This process included a comprehensive review of all capital projects to effectively prioritize and identify cost savings through better planning, scoping, and prioritization, through more effective sourcing and contracting, and through faster delivery. In addition, Eskom's management has put considerable effort to improving the cost, speed, and effectiveness of maintenance processes and into optimizing outputs from each power station. I wish to emphasize the importance of the effort both Eskom and Transnet have put into building their capabilities to manage and leverage the procurement of large capital projects and complex capital equipment to get both value for the enterprise and drive an industrialization process in their supply chains. After a 20-year gap in investment, the two companies and many of their national suppliers have been on an extremely steep learning curve. Although certain projects have fallen behind schedule, I am comfortable that the program as a whole is on track and that contingency measures have been put in place between these state-owned companies and their key suppliers to bring the delivery of delayed projects back to an acceptable and predictable timeline. I believe Eskom and Transnet are building the ability to implement and leverage projects of a scale and complexity that is beyond the capability of any other organization in South Africa. In this regard, I am proud to announce that towards the end of May this year, Eskom shall perform pressure tests on one of the boilers at Medupi, which is the first step towards finishing the commissioning of the first unit of Medupi over the next 12 months. This is a very significant step towards ensuring that we have first power at Medupi by 2013. What attaches such significance to this is the fact that the last new boiler in South Africa was at Majuba almost 12 years ago. On the other hand, Ingula is on track for completion by 2014 and Kusile to have the first unit coming on stream by 2014. We are in the process of harnessing this capacity in designing a program office for the department to support the Presidential Infrastructure Coordinating Commission so that we ensure that we achieve high levels of coordination between the multitude of different stakeholders that will be involved in the implementation of these historic and catalytic projects. Since the establishment of Broadband Infraco, the price of broadband has dropped by over 80%, which is testimony to the importance of government's presence in this sector to prevent abuse of monopoly power. Over the last year, the department has focused on bringing stability to Infraco's management and business processes. I am pleased to say that this has been achieved and the company is now poised to coherently and efficiently roll out its network in a manner that will enhance access to broadband capacity in both developed and underserviced areas. There are various opportunities and partnerships we are pursuing in and with various provincial and metro governments. South African Airways, in collaboration with South African Express, has been focusing on building its network in Africa. Earlier this year, when he opened the Dube Trade Port in Durban, the President made some significant announcements in this regard. This will support continental trade and economic integration. To stay competitive, SAA will need to replace its wide-body aircraft, mostly used for intercontinental flights, in the next few years with more fuel-efficient aircraft. This will require a capital injection, both to pay for the aircraft and to put SAA on a firmer financial footing. I believe this investment into SAA will be money well spent. I believe the state needs to provide security of supply of international air travel into South Africa, given the highly volatile nature of the industry and our location as a relatively small country on the southern tip of Africa. SAA's statutory mandate requires it to provide reliable and extensive air transport capacity, air links with the Republic's main business, trading and tourism markets within the African continent and other emerging markets, as well as to contribute to key domestic, intra-regional and international air linkages. In this regard, the state intends to retain it as a national carrier, an African airline with a global reach. Of course, this is not a blanket mandate for the airline not to be profitable, as we expect it to achieve more strategic profitable routes into each of the major continents, linking to key cities and their airports. Government, therefore, expects SAA to increase its operations to African routes and serve heavy traded routes in South Africa. SAA operates in a heavily liberalized market and has recently been very negatively affected by the hikes in fuel prices, the global economic turndown, which has reduced passengers, as well as high airport charges. These challenges are, however, not insurmountable. Denel as a group is stabilizing its financial footing despite the challenging global trading environment. The company's core defense entities are breaking even. Denel Aerostructures and interest payment loans have been the main drivers of the losses in the group. However, Denel and Airbus have reached an agreement on the pricing of the work packages produced by Denel Aerostructures, which will fundamentally alter the financial outlook of the company. It should be noted that Airbus has praised the capability and delivery record of Denel Aerostructures on the A400M program. This is a significant vote of confidence in the company from a leading global aerospace company. As developmental companies, we are committed to leveraging our state-owned companies to train beyond their immediate business needs to provide skills for the broader economy. Currently, more than 5,200 learners are enrolled for training in ESCOM and its supplier network, about 2,800 of whom are matriculants undergoing trade training, and there are 2,400 graduates in internships. Recently, we launched the ESCOM Welding Academy and are soon to launch both the Leadership and Project Management Academies. Transnet is providing training for about 3,500 engineering-related learners, including technicians, artisans, and sector-specific skills such as train drivers. Transnet enrolled 854 new artisan learners, which is significantly beyond its business needs and is exceeding the targets agreed in the National Skills Accord. In total, when including the baseline of 9,735, as at March 2011, more than 15,000 learners were trained in various scarce and critical skills learning programs within the state-owned companies in our portfolio. Further to this, SAA Technical last year signed a memorandum of understanding with the Ekurhuleni West College to train young people in aviation skills. The department continues to engage with the Department of Higher Education and Training to find ways further to improve on this performance through raising additional resources. The department also launched the Youth Economic Participation Program in June 2011 to systematically mainstream youth participation in the economy within the state-owned companies' businesses. A forum is being established between the department and state-owned companies to implement this program, which includes a mechanism to help young entrepreneurs to access capital using the collaboration of the development finance institutions such as KULA, the National Empowerment Fund, the IDC, through a dedicated fund, an idea that will be finalized by the end of this financial year. Through the state-owned companies' operations, investment programs, and development interventions, we are laying a foundation for growth, investment, and employment creation in the South African economy. I am confident that by 2020, the South African economy will be operating at a very different level because of the initiatives we are taking through our state-owned companies today. In addition, because of the bold decisions taken by our state-owned companies to effect transformation and bring into the fold black economic players, we should see an increased participation by black people in business in areas where they had hitherto been faced with barriers. We hope these black people who will get such opportunities will act decisively and magnanimously to open up space for more, to mentor, handhold, and nurture many others who are looking forward as well to having such opportunities. I thank you very much.